How are you guys? Good? Good? Good morning, everybody. That's what I normally say to my team, no matter what the time of the day is. So when I was preparing for this talk, there were a couple of options how I could structure this presentation, right? I could go with the traditional 30, 60, 90-day plan, which is actually a very important concept for you to build and maintain before you take a role, such as VP of Customer Success, a concept that you need to build at the beginning and then constantly update as you're in this role. And by the way, Omar wrote a great blog post about the topic. I highly recommend everybody in the room to read that. I decided to go about this presentation differently. I thought about what are the three main topics that everybody needs to think about in order to be really successful in a role like VP of Customer Success. The three main topics that are crucial to your career when you take over a role like this. But first of all, who am I? My name is Stephanie Schatz. I've spent the last 15 years in sales, success, business development for enterprise software companies. In between a couple of startups, I took some time off to travel. People always ask me, what was your most interesting day of your life? Probably that. It was a diving experience with about 150 sharks. It was terrifying, to be quite honest. I'll never forget that day. I also had a little bit of time to go after a hobby that normally gets terribly neglected, which is photography. Some of you might recognize that spot. Has anybody in the room been there? Recognizes the picture, the famous temples of Bagan in Myanmar. Anyway, I took that picture from a second hot air balloon. Also terrifying. I'm scared of heights. So when I'm not working, I spend my time with one horse that lives in Sonoma, and that's a lot of fun. Now, I work for Xamarin. Xamarin is a really cool company. I was the first non-engineering hire of the company about 3 years ago, and we've seen amazing growth. Xamarin is a platform for mobile development, mobile analytics, mobile testing. Obviously, mobile is a hot space. And it's a lot of fun to work there. We almost have 1 million developers with Xamarin. Our customers, our users are mobile developers, mobile engineers. That is important for the concept, obviously, for the rest of the talk. We have currently a number of about 40,000 that we're adding every single month. So very, very strong growth. And we have paying customers in 150 countries. So from the get-go, it was a very international company, very international setup. And you might have noticed at the beginning of the talk that my title has both sales and customer success. I own both functions for Xamarin, which is a concept that has been very successful for us. And you will notice that everybody in the company, not only me, everybody constantly talks about the success of our customers. This is a picture of our CTO, Miguel de Icaza, speaking at a conference 2 years ago. And the mission of the company is delight developers. That's the clearly stated goal of the organization. Now, let's talk about you. Let's say you're taking over as the new VP of Customer Success, maybe the first VP of Customer Success for that particular company. Who in the room already has the title, VP Customer Success? Hands up. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Who in the room wants that title, VP of Customer? Hands up. Nice, nice. I like it, I like it. Very good, very good. So let's assume it's your first day. First of all, congratulations, right? That's amazing. But what really matters now? What do you really focus on? Now, in my opinion, customer success really starts with sales. In order for you to understand which type of customer can be successful with your solution, with your technology, you need to really understand the profile of your ideal customer. You need to spend a lot of time defining exactly who it is that you want to sell to the very detail. What does your ideal customer look like? And as a consequence, more importantly, who do you not want to sell to? Secondly, you need to understand, do you have the right sales team? When you walk over to sales, do you find yourself surrounded by loud, unpleasant, brash people who really are not very interested in learning anything and really don't want to listen to you at all? You might be working for a company whose sales management is stuck in the 1990s. Very dangerous. In the new world of SaaS software, really successful salespeople are smart. They are highly knowledgeable in their field, and they're very, very sensitive to the requirements of their customers. That is really important. The old-fashioned way of selling does not make a company successful anymore. And then last but not least, in order for those first two concepts to work, your sales team, your salespeople need to be able to walk away from a conversation. It's very difficult when you sell to a customer, when there's pressure in the company to sell to a customer at any price. Now, specific organizations will derive more value from the software that you're selling. You need to know who that is. And if that is not the case, maybe you don't want to sell to that customer in the first place. Admittedly, in the early stages of a startup, that might be a luxury that you cannot afford. You know, it's your first year. Xamarin was bootstrapped in the beginning. You really have to make your money where you can get it. That said, that is okay as long as it is a conscious decision. You need to be aware that these customers will be at risk for churn in year 2, in year 3, and not be surprised by that. As the company matures, you want to be aware that you're spending a lot of money to make that first deal, and therefore a new customer is very expensive to the company. I always ask my team, I need you to think like a CEO. We are all here to make money, yes, but in order for the company to be successful in the long run, we need to really think about who we sell to and how much energy we spend with every single customer. Very important. Now, secondly, everybody in your organization needs to care about the success of your existing customers. I think that is very, very important. An interesting example on how that is implemented at Xamarin is the way our support is set up. So we have an official support team, obviously, that's a great team. But a lot of support requests are actually being routed directly to the core software engineers. More difficult, more specific requests are routed directly to the support organization. That has a couple of advantages. First of all, it really accelerates the way in which these requests are being answered. Because what might take a regular support engineer 8 hours to figure out, the core engineer probably looks at it and has the answer in 4 minutes. That is a fantastic customer experience. But more importantly, your support organization and your engineers will know exactly what customers are struggling with. That is very important. And then in addition to that, it's a great way to make sure that customer requests and customer issues actually directly influence your product roadmap, which is another really, really important aspect to make you successful as the VP. Pretty quickly, you also want to figure out how other departments can help you be successful. Often there are incredible shortcuts to customer success. It can be a specific document or an FAQ that has to be written by somebody, but that can be linked to the relevant part of the website. That can be very helpful for your customers. What are these things that other department leads can do for you and for your customers to make you more successful? And then last but not least, I talk about this a lot, but this is very dear to my heart, is if you come in as a new VP of Customer Success, it's probably your job to completely change the cadence of the company, to completely change the metrics that the executive team looks at on a regular basis. Most organizations celebrate big time a new customer win, new logo. That is great. That's a good thing to celebrate, but you need to teach the other executives to celebrate just as much when you have customers that expand, certain metrics for customer happiness and customer retention. Very, very important. And in order to do that, you need an interesting, and sharp and insightful executive dashboard that manages all of that for you. And you need to make sure that the entire management team looks at that dashboard on a regular basis. I think that is very important. Now, one of my other favorite topics is segmentation. Segmentation, and with that, it goes team structure. Omar also alluded to that earlier. That is a topic that will evolve over time, very simple and straightforward in the beginning, but it needs to become more sophisticated and more nuanced as your organization evolves. So first of all, you need to understand what those segments are. There's different ways to segment. It can be based on how mission critical your solution, your technology is for your customer. Makes a huge difference in the usage. It can be based on the use case of how they are using your software. It can be based on customer size. It could be based on location and geography. So there's probably a combination of these factors that are relevant for your customer base that needs to be at the heart of everything you do. I found personally interesting for me a matrix, creating a matrix that basically looks at how important our technology is for our customer, and then compares that with the size of the company. If you put together a matrix like that, highly likely you will find the customers that you can create most value for, and in return, those are probably the accounts that have the highest lifetime potential in dollars for your company. It is very important to be very aware of who these companies are and make sure you spend the most time on these accounts. And then in an ideal world, your success team is structured around that segmentation, and your sales team should follow that same organization as well. Very good. Now, what if you're in there for the first 30, 60, 90 days, right? All of these conversation topics are probably work in progress, new to the organization, a lot of change, a lot of different awareness that you bring into the organization. But if you find yourself in an organization where you don't find support for these topics, you're working for the wrong company. Get out of there. I think that is very important to keep in mind. Customer success is the hottest space in the industry. Be aware of your value. Every single organization wants to hire somebody like you. So find an organization, find a place where you're being set up for success, not only for the success of your customers, but the success of your company, and therefore, in the long term, the success, for your personal career. I think that is very important. Now, not at all related, we're hiring. I happen to be looking for a stellar VP of Customer Success to join my team. Director of Customer Success, we're hiring across the entire success and sales organization. Xamarin is a fun company to work for. This was my team 2 years ago. We were 8. This is us now. We're 60. We'll be double that size by the end of the year. So if you know somebody that would be interested in working for Xamarin, talk to me. Find me on Twitter. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to talk to you. I'll be at the conference for a little bit longer, so maybe we can talk then. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day at the conference. Thank you very much.